Chapter 22 Flying Sword. Fang Han burst out laughing. The laugh not only caught Prince Bao off guard, but also drew the gazes of the other imperial princes and princesses of the Great Li Dynasty straight to him. Even the other young men and women present flicked their sharp eyes his way. These young men and women exuded an imposing aura no less regal than that of the imperial children. Among them, one young man carried an especially deep, faint aura, as still and unfathomable as mountain rock or grass and trees. When their eyes swept over Fang Han, he felt as if every bit of his vitality, his weight, explosive power, speed, heartbeat, all of it, had been laid completely bare before them. One of them is a master at the 9th spirit channeling realm of the mortal physique. The thought crossed Fang Han's mind, and he immediately tensed with secret vigilance. The spirit channeling realm, the 9th level of the mortal physique, is where cultivators begin to unlock the potential of their mind. Their spirit becomes incredibly sharp, almost able to see through every vital sign of an opponent. They can even perform internal observation, seeing their own 5 viscera and 6 bowels as clearly as the lines on the palm of their hand. This state is incredibly formidable, otherwise it would not deserve the name spirit channeling. To reach this realm, cultivators must practice miraculous spirit cultivation techniques, such as the primordial essence spirit art that only inner disciples of Yuhua sect are permitted to learn. Could these people be inner disciples? The thought rose in Fang Han's mind. But he had no time to think further, for Prince Bao had already stood up, his icy gaze sweeping over Fang Han from head to toe. Oh? So you're still not convinced that I beat you last time? You trained hard for 20 days, got some results, and now you want to beat me to vent your anger? Your scheming is far too shallow. You hold a grudge over every slight, don't understand the truth that a gentleman waits 10 years to avenge a wrong. You'll never amount to anything. If you had bided your time and kept your head down, I might have even respected you as someone of consequence. But coming at me in such a rush to throw your life away, you're no different from a common hooligan. Sigh. I suppose I'll have to oblige you and beat you again. This time, it won't be as simple as spitting up a little blood. I don't care about amounting to anything. I only care about venting the resentment in my heart. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. 10 years is too long. I seize the day and the night. The future is uncertain, only the present is real. Life is short, a mayfly's dream. What's the point of carrying a grudge in your heart for 10 years, when you can fight it out now? That is true courage. You scheme too much, you will never achieve the immortal Tao. I'm afraid you will never cultivate to the secret realm of supernatural powers in your entire life. The path of immortality requires forging ahead bravely, cutting down everything standing in your way, not scheming and holding back, stifling yourself. It certainly isn't about hidden agendas and twisting your spirit. The path of immortality has no room for all these crooked schemes. Fang Han's tone suddenly turned incredibly peaceful, calm, and cool. His words were full of philosophy, refuting Prince Bao point by point, leaving the prince too stunned to speak. Ever since consuming the 9 apertures golden elixir, Fang Han's mind had become far sharper, all sorts of wild, creative ideas popping up one after another. Combined with his diligent reading of all realms these days, he had gained many new insights. All realms contained not only knowledge of astronomy, geography, and rare treasures, but also many profound insights on cultivation. The sovereign leader of Yuhua sect would never have written a book without pouring his own insights into it, and this had undoubtedly opened a new door in Fang Han's mind, given him greater depth, gradually reshaped his thinking and broadened his horizons. Now, when he suddenly refuted Prince Bao's words, his arguments were sharp as swords and cavalry, floating through the air with imposing momentum. He was nothing like the lowly stable boy he had been before. No one present could see him as that anymore now. Who has time for your nonsense? Prince Bao's face turned icy cold. With a whoosh, he flashed straight in front of Fang Han, his footwork so treacherous no one could tell what style he was using. Fang Han only felt a numbness in his throat. Prince Bao's fingers were already flying like arrows, stabbing straight at his Adam's apple. This stab had a completely different style from Prince Bao's previous martial arts, full of treachery, darkness, coldness, and cruelty. Eternal Hatred Finger. That's the martial art of the Eternal Hatred School of the Demonic Path. Princess Hongyi cried out in alarm. Prince Bao had not only mastered martial arts from Wangwixian Island, but also a technique from one of the 7 branches of the demonic sect, and he did not hesitate to use demonic art even in a righteous immortal sect like Yuhua. Fang Han could not even hear Princess Hongyi's warning. Everything had happened far too fast. But after 20 days of grueling, repeated training, he had long been prepared. He stepped forward, and domineering aura burst forth instantly. He trod the 7-star step. His body surged like the tides of a great river, waves crashing against the bank, rolling up 1,000 drifts of snow. It carried the aura of heroes and nobles, of a fated meeting of great minds, one step securing the fate of the world, pacifying the nation, ascending to the imperial throne. Fang Han's ritual robes billowed as he stepped and dodged, his aura swelling even more, letting Prince Bao's demonic eternal hatred finger strike thin air. Then, he shifted his foot, and the kick of the Kuei star kicking the dipper technique burst out. With this kick, his chi roiled inside his body. Every muscle, bone, skin, and membrane across his body tensed fully. The divine might of his mortal physique burst forth like the wrath of thunder, like a celestial god descending to the mortal world. A long breath gusted out from his mouth and nose, a mighty roar shaking the sky, clear as a crane's cry and a dragon's roar. It condensed into 14 words, the 2-line verse that was the true mantra of the 7 stars fist, adding even more momentum to Fang Han's kick. Where iron hooves tread, mountains and rivers crumble, Kuei star's kick shifts the Big Dipper. His kick carried the momentum of 1,000 armies, iron hooves trampling mountains and rivers into ruin, like a gigantic celestial god appearing in the sky, kicking the very stars out of their positions. At this moment, Fang Han felt as if he had become the king of all stars in the heavens. The Lord of Stars, the leader of all constellations. He roamed freely through the vast starry sky, and his spirit established a mysterious, unfathomable connection with the universe and the boundless stars. This aura! Princess Hongyi could not help but exclaim in the moment, then her shock deepened. 7 stars fist of the star sect. How can he know this? How many secrets does he hide? The other imperial disciples of Great Li, and the more formidable young men and women, all showed surprise on their faces when Fang Han stepped forward and threw that kick. How has he improved this much? Prince Bao had never expected Fang Han could progress so far in just 20 days. His bones and muscles were as hard as refined steel, his arms and legs as sharp as a blade, as heavy as a woodcutter's great axe. Above all, the aura radiating from him was far more domineering and powerful than that of an emperor ruling a dynasty. The martial arts of the star sect are inherently overbearing, and the 9 Apertures Golden Elixir is a divine medicine refined by Yellow Spring Great Emperor, a demonic sect overlord. The powerful aura of that ancient demonic emperor was infused into Fang Han's spirit, and it complemented the star sect's martial arts perfectly. Last night, after Fang Han completely refined the 9 Apertures Golden Elixir, a wisp of the pill's formidable aura merged with his spirit. It could be said that Fang Han's current domineering aura, like that of the leader of all stars, was transformed from the ancient demonic aura of Yellow Spring Great Emperor, and the spiritual pressure it created was unmatched. Fang Han himself knew this clearly. The 9 Apertures Golden Elixir had a trace of its own spirituality, and now that spirit was tightly bound to his own mind, making his thoughts even clearer. Shocked into stillness by the momentum of Fang Han's kick, Prince Bao's chi caught in his throat. He pulled his chest and abdomen in, shrinking back, and raised his hands like a screen, switching from attack to defense. Can you really defend? Fang Han sneered again. He kept treading the 7-star step, and struck out with the 7 stars fist move gathering of heroes. His 10 fingers plucked like the strings of a pipa, his nails singing as they slashed at Prince Bao's neck, wrists, the major arteries, and other vital points. This move was also incredibly vicious and overbearing. His 10 fingers were like the heroes and great talents of the world, gathered together, each displaying their own prowess. A long bloody gash was slashed across Prince Bao's cheek. Enough! Just then, a young man with a perfectly proportioned build, wearing a jade hairpin in his hair, stood up abruptly. He flicked his hand, and instantly waves of cold sword aura billowed and swirled, condensing into a 3-foot-long sword without a hilt, clear as autumn water filling a stream. It flew slashing toward Fang Han, coiling like a dragon or snake through the air, aiming to stop Fang Han's killing strike. Fang Han! Watch out! That's a flying sword spirit treasure. Lu Kang and Princess Hongyi cried out in alarm. Bad! Fang Han saw the flying sword coming for him, and knew this was no ordinary martial art. A flying sword is a spirit treasure forged by a master of the secret realm of supernatural powers, impossible to withstand with the mortal physique. He quickly retreated, but the young man who released the flying sword seemed intent on teaching him a lesson. He pointed a finger through the air, and the flying sword trembled suddenly, blossoming into dozens of shadow blades that wrapped completely around Fang Han's body before slashing down. Psst. The sword light fell on Fang Han's body, but at that moment, the yellow spring submerged dragon scroll bound to Fang Han's body trembled slightly. The sword light actually sank into his clothing and vanished without a trace, leaving the outside of his clothes completely unharmed. Normally, over these 20 days of daily sword practice with Princess Hongyi, Fang Han had kept the yellow spring submerged dragon scroll stored away, but today he did not practice sword, so he wore it close to his body. He knew the scroll held inconceivable power that could save his life. And sure enough, now it unexpectedly took the opponent's flying sword for him to. What? The young man who released the flying sword watched his sword strike Fang Han and vanish without a trace. He poured his mind into activating it again and again, but could not feel even the slightest connection, like it had sunk into the sea and vanished. This shocked him enormously. He was an inner disciple, and this flying sword was a spirit treasure granted to him by the sect. After blood oath refinement, he could wield it freely, make it fly through the air, slash and kill wherever he willed. He had thought dealing with a lowly outer disciple would be effortless, but he never expected he not only failed to defeat Fang Han, but also lost his flying sword, which he valued more than his own life. This was like cutting a chunk of flesh right off his body. He was so heartbroken he almost bled. I misjudged you. I never thought you would carry a high-grade spirit treasure on you too. This was just a misunderstanding just now. Please return my flying sword to me. The young man's gaze was cold, but his tone softened a great deal. You want your flying sword back? Come get it from me at Purple Lightning Peak later. A sharp thought flickered through Fang Han's mind.